In this video, I'll introduce you to the PowerShell ISE interface. Okay, I'm going to click on the Start button, and here you see the Windows PowerShell ISE, short for Integrated Scripting Environment. Now, I'm using Windows Server 2016, so I don't need to right-click and run it as an administrator. I'm already logged in as the administrator. But if you're running this from another version of Windows, maybe a non-server version, you might want to right-click it and then run it as administrator, because otherwise things won't work quite the way that you hope they will. Now, when you run the PowerShell ISE, you're going to see this interface. First, we see the actual console, the PowerShell console here with the flashing cursor. So I can go ahead and actually start typing in commands just from the command line right there. Now, over on the right-hand side, we have our commands window, and the commands window shows us all the available commands, and you can see that there are tons of them for the ISE. Now this is great because what you can do is you can group by module. So if I click on the drop down here, you can see that we have different modules. So for example, I'll go ahead and click App Locker. And what that will do is show me all the various commands that are associated with the App Locker module. Let's try something else. Okay, so you can see all these different commands, which is really great because this way you can sort of get to exactly what it is you're looking for. Now, I'll go back to all. And then just in the name search box, type in a command, and it'll show me all the commands or all the modules that are related to or use copy in the name, which is great because what you can do at this point is just click on any of them, and it'll give you a little bit of help here as to what this particular module does. And if I click on Show Details, it'll actually give me even more information. And here you can see we have all the various parameters that we can use. Some of them are fill-ins and some of them are checkboxes. For instance, I just checked on force there to force this particular command. And you can get to that just by clicking on details. Now, if I click on something else, actually, let's go ahead and just get rid of that altogether. It'll take us back to the main interface. So it's a really helpful way of working with PowerShell because oftentimes you want to be able to search for commands and find out what they do. And once you've actually found that command that you're looking for example, I'll just choose something like this, resume. And if I click this, down here you have three buttons. Now you can see that there's a run button. That's grayed out. We can't actually run this from here. But if I choose insert, you'll see that the command has now been inserted into the console. So that's a really great way of being able to get to that command quickly without having to type it. I'll backspace, and let's try something else. Resume job. And this time I'll copy it and click here and right-click and paste. So you can copy and paste in the console just as easily as using the insert button. And that's just sort of a basic overview of the interface in PowerShell ISE. And it's a really great and clean and useful way of being able to work with this application. And there's a button right here, and I really like this one, Show Command Window. As long as the cursor is placed on the command, if I click this, you'll see it'll bring up the command panel for this particular command, resume-job. And here we've got a full set of information about all the various parameters in a tabbed format that we can actually enter the information here and use the checkboxes to actually control this. And again, you have these three buttons below, the run, copy, and cancel. There's a copy button here that allows you to copy that information and you can go ahead and paste it in the console just like you did with the button over here. But let's go ahead and just cancel that, and there we go. So you can see that the PowerShell interface is going to be a very, very powerful tool for being able to execute your scripts and generate different batch jobs using the PowerShell environment. In this video, I'll demonstrate how to run commandlets in the PowerShell ISE. Now, I've got my C folder here, and what I'd like to do is just maybe do something sort of simple with the PowerShell ISE. I'm going to actually create a new folder. I'll call it new. You can see it's not there right now. And to do that, this is a familiar command, make dir. You can see it right there. And if I click that, I'm going to get more detail in the commands window. And here in the path part, I can actually type in what I want to call my new directory or folder, and I'll just call it new. Now, when I click on insert, it's going to insert all that code into the console, the PowerShell console. And if I press enter, We get some feedback here telling us that a new folder has been created, and you can see there it is right there. Now let's take a look at something else. I'll clear the screen with the cls command. Let's try something different. Let's try remove-item. You can see it right there. I'll go ahead and click it. Now remove item, I'll go ahead and show the details. Works in the opposite. It's a delete command for PowerShell, and what I want to do is enter the path again, C:\new. Remember, it's still there, but I'll go ahead and click insert, and there's the entire command including the path, and I press enter. Now this time we didn't get any feedback, but if we go and check our folder, you can see that the new directory is gone. So it's pretty straightforward to get your commands into the console without having to type a whole lot using the PowerShell ISE. And as you can see, it's pretty straightforward until you get to start to work with other more complex tasks. But that's just a basic understanding of how you can get cmdlets and their parameters into the PowerShell ISE command console. In this video, I'll discuss PowerShell host applications. A PowerShell host application can specify and manage the run space where commands are executed. And you execute commands by opening sessions on a local or remote computer. They're executed either synchronously or asynchronously. The PowerShell class is used to host PowerShell applications, provisions methods that create a pipeline of processes, and commands are then executed in a run space. A default run space can be created that will assist with creating a host application, and a custom run space can be created if a specific set of commands need to be executed. To create a host application, add command is used to add commands to the pipeline in three main steps: creating a PowerShell object, adding desired commands to execute, and invoking chosen commands, like the example here. The first line uses the create command to create the object. The second line uses the add command to add the get activities command, and the third line invokes the command. Add parameter helps add parameters to a chosen command, and add statement is used to add an additional statement to the end of the pipeline, like the example here. The run space is the operating environment for commands executed by a host application, including both data and defined restrictions. Initial session state creates customized workspaces where every run space has an associated initial session state object. It's used to specify characteristics of the run space commands, modules, and variables.